Hey class, how's it going today? Excuse my outfit. The heater is not working in my apartment today, and it's 32 degrees outside. This is my case study. I did it on Air Florida Flight 90. I've done one on it before, but it's something that a lot of us could struggle with, with the smaller planes that we're flying currently. But happened on January 13th. 1982 is a Boeing 737 crashed into the Potomac from Washington National Airport. There were 78 fatalities. Our case study is going to kind of focus on risk management, ADM, the threat forward concept, just kind of go over what went wrong. So main issue was they didn't de-ice the plane properly. They had a lot of ice buildup. There was no engine anti-ice, and the wings got contaminated with ice. There was also an abnormal acceleration on the takeoff that they just kind of overlooked. Aircraft stalled and crashed into the Potomac pretty quick after takeoff. If anybody's ever seen that airport, you know it's not very far to the river. Our PAVE analysis, the captain had a weak systems knowledge in some interviews that I'm assuming NTSB did. They found that he was very deficient in his systems, and that the FO noticed the issues but deferred the final to the captain, which is something you shouldn't be afraid to do as an FO. The crew resource management breakdown and hazardous attitudes were present, is from the report. The aircraft had ice contamination on the wings and in the engines. Anti-ice was not activated, and most of their engine readings were improper because everything was iced over. Obviously, winter storm, freezing temps, heavy snow, something that will increase taxi delays and takeoff delays and everything. And after the delay, crew didn't run a check again. Pressure to depart, passenger frustration, company culture. It's a classic get there-itis if I've ever seen one. Misinterpreted power settings for the takeoff, ignored abnormal airspeed and acceleration, should have rejected takeoff, and they didn't. So they didn't identify the risk, and then they didn't mitigate the risk. Threats weren't projected forward. Crew failed to consider the consequences of icing. If they sat there with a delay and didn't even think about re-de-icing. Proper contamination checks, using engine anti-ice, rejected takeoff if you see something wrong. I see anything wrong, we need to reject the takeoff and figure out what's wrong. Probably need to do some crew resource management stuff to figure out, why the FO didn't say anything and all that. Biblical integrations, Proverbs 27:12, prudency, danger, and take refuge. That's one that we constantly see, being thrown around in the aviation world. Aviation requires caution, wisdom, and humility. And then there are my references. Thank you.